Get your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.
An estimate in QuickBooks Online is a proposal or quote for work you want to do for a customer. Estimates let you easily transfer their information to an invoice when you are ready to bill the customer without re entering all the information from the estimate. If you enable progress invoicing in your company file, you can also send partial invoices from the estimate's totals as needed if invoicing from a project's estimate in phases. To transfer information from an estimate to an invoice, the estimate's status must be either accepted or pending, but not closed. It must also be saved and cannot have been fully invoiced. Like invoices, estimates in QuickBooks Online use either a simplified new layout or an old layout. To switch between layouts, click either the old layout or the Try New Estimates button that appears in the toolbar towards the upper right corner of the Estimates window. To create an estimate, click the plus new button in the navigation bar. Then click the estimate link under the customer heading in the menu to open the estimate window. Then select the customer or project from the customer dropdown. Alternatively, to create an estimate from a project's details page if using QuickBooks Online Plus with projects enabled, click the Add to Project button in the upper right corner of the project details page. Then select Estimate from the dropdown to create a new estimate and select the project from the Customer dropdown. These are just two different ways to do the same task. If using the old layout, the estimate status appears below the Customer dropdown. The default status is pending. To change the estimate status, click the status to show an Estimate Status drop-down menu. Select the desired estimate status from the Estimate Status drop-down. Optionally, enter values into the by and date fields to confirm who accepted the estimate and when. Then click outside the drop-down to close it. Alternatively, if using the new layout, click the Manage button in the toolbar to show the pane at the right side of the window if needed, and then select the estimate status from the drop-down towards the top of the pane. The selected customer and/or project information appears in the fields at the top of the form. You can edit this information the same way as when editing it within the invoice using your respective form layout. The estimate date field contains the current date, and you can change it if needed. To set an expiration date for the estimate, select it from the Calendar Date selector for the expiration date field, or click into the field to type a date. If using the old layout, and if shipping is enabled, then the Shipping To, Ship Via, Shipping Date, and Tracking Number fields also appear. The estimate number field shows the next highest available estimate number. If you enabled custom transaction numbers in sales forms, then you can change this if needed. If using the new layout, and if you enabled payments in QuickBooks Online, you can click the Discounts and Fees button in the pane at the right side of the estimate to set which payment fields appear in the estimate. If a customer to whom you send an estimate accepts the estimate and/or makes a deposit in QuickBooks Online using this new estimate layout, then the estimate is marked as accepted and converted into an invoice. If using the old layout, and if you enabled location tracking, a location drop-down appears here. If you also enabled class tracking on a transaction level, then a class drop-down appears here. Additionally, the location of sale or shipping from field shows your company's default sales address. You can change this if needed. To add a tag to this transaction if using the old layout, click into the Tags field and select a tag from the menu of tags. Repeat as needed to apply tags from any tag groups you created. Alternatively, to add a new tag, type the tag's name, select it from the Add choice in the drop-down menu, and follow the on-screen prompts to add it to a new tag group for reporting purposes. Note that this field doesn't appear in the new layout, and you must instead apply tags within the Tags page to invoices and estimates that use that layout, as shown at the end of the earlier lesson titled Creating and Using Tags. The next area is the Line Items area, where you enter the estimate's products and/or services. If you enabled service dates in sales forms, you can select the service date for services to provide from the service date column. To select an existing item from the Products and Services list, click into the Product Service column and then select the item from the drop-down menu. If SKUs are enabled, the item SKU appears in the SKU column. Its description appears in the Description column. You can also type a description here if desired. Enter the quantity of the product to buy or service to provide by typing it into the quantity field labeled QTY. The rate for the product or service per quantity unit appears in the rate field. You can change it if needed. The quantity field is multiplied by the rate field to show the total amount for the line item in the amount field. If entering a product or service without a rate or quantity, you can simply enter the total amount into the amount field if needed. Also note that the new layout contains another dropdown that lets you select unit, hour, or flat rate. If you select flat rate, the unit, hour, and quantity fields are removed for that line item, and you can then enter the flat amount into the amount field. If using the old layout, and if the product or service is taxable, ensure the tax field checkbox for the line item is checked. You can check or uncheck this as needed within this form. If using the new layout, you can only change the default sales tax status for a line item at the item level. To change the sales tax status of an item if needed, and if using the new layout, click the three-dot menu at the line item's right end, and then select the Edit Sales Tax command to open a pane that lets you change the default sales tax for the item, and then click the Save button to apply it. At the left end of each line item row is a selection handle. To change the order of the line items, click and drag the line item up or down by this handle and then release it. To delete a line item, click the Delete button, which looks like a trash can icon at the right end of the line item row to delete. To add a new line item row, click into the bottom line item row to automatically add a new row. If using the new layout, you can also click the Add Product or Service link to add a new blank line item. Alternatively, if using the old layout, to add 4 new rows at once, click the Add Lines button under the Line Items area. To delete all line items, click the Clear All Lines button in the same location. To add a subtotal line item to an old layout estimate, select the line item row above where you want to insert the subtotal row. Then click the Add Subtotal button to add a subtotal line below the currently selected line. You can add as many subtotal lines as the estimate requires. To enter a message to show on the estimate, type it into the message displayed on estimate field for the old layout or the Note to Customer field in the new layout. If using the old layout, and if you convert this estimate into an invoice and want to enter a message that appears as the invoice's description in the customer's statement, type it into the message displayed on statement field. In the lower left corner is the Attachments field, which lets you attach a file to the estimate. You can drag and drop files onto the field, or click the field's name or icon to open a file upload dialog box that you can use to browse for and then select the file to attach. Note the 20 megabyte file attachment size limit. In the lower right corner of the estimate is the subtotal, taxable subtotal, sales tax, discount, shipping and tax on shipping, total, and estimate total field information depending on which sales form features you enabled. If using the old layout, then the Select Tax Rate dropdown lets you select either the default based on location choice if using the automatic sales tax feature, or select a custom tax rate if you created those. Based on your selection, the sales tax to collect appears to the right. If using the automatic sales tax and the based on location choice, then you can click either the See the Math link or Edit Tax link under the sales tax amount to see the sales tax information and calculations and correct it if needed in the pane that then opens at the right side of the window as shown in an earlier lesson. For now, note that if you need to override the automatic sales tax calculation, you can click the Override This Amount link in the pane's lower right corner to open a section at the bottom of the pane that lets you enter either a new rate or amount to charge for sales tax, and then select a reason from the dropdown. Then click the adjacent Confirm or Apply Override button to confirm the override. Alternatively, to apply a custom sales tax rate if you created one and are using the new layout, select the custom sales tax rate from the Sales Tax Rate dropdown that appears at the very top of this pane. After editing the sales tax if needed, you can then close the pane by clicking the Close button in its lower right corner. Alternatively, to apply a custom sales tax rate, if you created one and are using the old layout, select the custom tax rate from the Select Tax Rate dropdown. The amount of sales tax to collect then appears in a field to the right, which you can change if needed. To apply a discount to the estimate, if you enable the discount field in your sales forms, either use the discount drop-down that appears near the select tax rate drop-down to either select the discount percent or discount value choice, or click the percent sign or dollar sign toggle switch if using the new layout. Then enter the percentage or amount into the adjacent field. The discount is related to sales tax because you can change whether the discount is applied before or after calculating sales tax in QuickBooks Online as needed. To change this if using the old layout, click the button that looks like up and down arrows in a blue circle to the left of the sales tax rate and discount fields to switch the order of the two fields in the estimate each time you click it. Doing this changes whether the discount is applied after sales tax is calculated or before sales tax is calculated based on the order in which the fields appear in the estimate. Alternatively, if using the new layout, click the Manage button in the toolbar at the top of the window if needed to show a pane at the right side of the window. Then click the Discounts and Fees button. Then check or uncheck the Apply Discount After Sales Tax checkbox as needed. If shipping is enabled and you use the old layout, then you can enter the amount of shipping into the shipping field. The tax on shipping field, if enabled, shows the sales tax on the shipping. If using the new layout, you may need to enable a shipping fee field before you can enter shipping fees and see the sales tax if needed. To enable the shipping fee field in the new layout, click the Manage button in the toolbar at the top of the window if needed to show a pane at the right side of the window. Then click the Discounts and Fees button. Then toggle the shipping fee toggle switch to the on position. You can then enter the shipping amount into the shipping field in the estimate to add the shipping costs and, if applicable, and if using the automatic sales tax calculations, the shipping sales tax to the estimate. The total and estimate total fields show the estimate's total amount. The toolbar at the bottom of the estimate lists the actions you can perform. Different options appear here when creating a new estimate versus opening an existing estimate. When creating a new estimate using the old layout, you will see Cancel and Clear buttons appear at the left side of the toolbar. Clicking Cancel cancels the estimate creation. Clicking Clear clears all the fields but keeps the window open. To cancel an estimate if using the new layout, click the X button in the upper right corner and then click Yes in the prompt to close without saving. In the middle of the toolbar when using the old layout are the Print or Preview, Make Recurring, and Customize buttons. Clicking the Print or Preview button shows a pop-up menu that lets you check a Print Later checkbox or click the Print or Preview command. Checking the Print Later checkbox lets you filter by that delivery method if you batch print estimates later. Clicking the Print or Preview command saves the estimate and opens a window that shows it as a PDF and lets you preview or print it. Clicking the Make Recurring button in the old layout opens the Recurring Estimate window. This window lets you create a recurring estimate, which is not often needed by most companies. However, the process is essentially the same as creating a recurring invoice, which we discussed in an earlier chapter. You can click the Cancel button in the toolbar to cancel the recurring estimate and return to the main estimate screen if needed. Clicking the Customize command in the toolbar, if using the old layout, lets you select a different estimate template to use, edit the current estimate template, or create a new estimate template by selecting a command in the pop-up menu that appears. The new layout doesn't use templates, but you can customize its appearance by clicking the Manage button in the toolbar at the top of the window if needed to show a pane at the right side of the window. Then click the Design button to expand it. Then select a color and font to use. Alternatively, if using the new layout, the middle of the toolbar contains an Other Actions link you can click to select the Make a Copy command, which makes a copy of the estimate. To save the estimate after creating it, click the Save button towards the right end of the toolbar. To save and send the estimate by email, click the Save and Send or Review and Send button that appears at the right end of the toolbar depending on your form layout. Alternatively, to save the estimate and then close the estimate or create another new estimate, click the drop-down on either the Save button if using the new layout or the Save and Send button if using the old layout, and then click either the Save and Close or Save and New command. To save the estimate and send a link to the online estimate by email to the customer's email address if using the new layout, click the drop-down on the green button at the right end of the toolbar, and then select the Share Link command. The link also appears in a window on screen, so you can then copy the link to send to them via other channels if desired. You can then close the link window. Note that clicking the drop-down on the green button at the right end of the toolbar if using the new layout also shows a Print and Download option. Selecting the Print and Download option opens the estimate as a PDF in a new browser tab or window, so you can then use the buttons in the toolbar at the top of the PDF preview to print or download it as a PDF to manually send it to the customer if needed. You can then close the window. To open an estimate for editing after saving it, click it within the Estimates page to show information about it in a pane at the right side of the window. Then click the Edit button at the bottom of the pane to reopen it, or click the More Actions button to select from a full list of editing actions like delete, convert to invoice, or duplicate, among others. However, if you reopen the estimate for editing and are using the old layout, then a new More button also appears in the toolbar at the bottom of the estimate. Clicking this button shows action commands for Copy to copy the estimate, Delete to delete the estimate, and Audit History, which shows an audit history of the estimate. You can click any of these actions to perform the related activity. Likewise, clicking the Other Actions button in the center of the toolbar if using the new layout and editing a saved estimate shows the Delete command in addition to the Make a Copy command that previously appeared in the menu. You can select this command to delete the estimate from within the estimate form if needed.
Like what you see? Pick up your free copy of the complete tutorial at www.teachucomp.com/free.